Josh Earnest, of course, was the White House press secretary for a long time. And what do people in government do, especially government mouthpieces? I mean, press secretaries and spokespeople. They immediately, of course, go to cable news, where they continue to be mouthpieces. I mean, spokespeople for the people that they worked for, whether it's the Trump guys like Corey Lewandowski, or it's the Obama guys like David Axelrod, etc. Now, I know that some have gotten away from their past. George Stephanopoulos has now been a journalist for a long, long time, and I think he's earned credibility in that realm. Now, you might not agree with everything he says or how he presents it, but I think he's left his political days behind. But others, and I know Axelrod tries hard every once in a while to say something that isn't necessarily kosher with the Democratic Party. And they all do to some small degree. Others, not so much. I mean, the Trump guys they're just comical. But again, it's not to be partisan. I've seen Democrats who leave office and then go on TV and then spew talking point after talking point in exactly the way that you would imagine. In fact, if they stray from the talking points, that's when like eyebrows are raised, like, whoa, a whole 3.5% of the time, that guy happened to stray from talking points. He is really independent. So Josh Earnest, where has he landed? You're gonna be shocked. Prepare not to be shocked. NBC/MSNBC. Let's all say it together. Of course. All right, now let me read you NBC News' statement on this. We are pleased to announce that Josh Earnest will join NBC News and MSNBC as a political analyst. As you may have seen, he made his debut this morning on Today and Morning Joe. Oh great, he's on Morning Joe. Josh recently completed a 10-year run with President Obama, most recently serving as White House press secretary from 2014 to 2017. Okay, now, this is exactly what's wrong with cable news, but they don't get it, and I don't know why I'm helping them, but I'll tell you one more time. You guys are all serving insiders. So in your cocktail circuit, you're like, oh, I do declare he got Josh. Well, Josh is really well known and respected in Washington. And hence the American people are looking forward to what he's going to say. The American people are doing no such thing. They probably largely don't know Josh Earnest. But if they do know him, they're like, oh, that's the guy who was the mouthpiece for the Obama administration. So let me know to make sure I don't trust him. Now you can say, oh, that's not fair. That's so unfair to Josh. And maybe it isn't. I don't know Josh Earnest at all. And my guess is he's a perfectly lovely guy. And I wouldn't mind having drinks with him either, okay? But I'm telling you about the reaction at home. It's not like they think, now that is a trusted source right there. Now, on the other hand, we have perspective here on the Young Turks, but that's exactly the problem, which is that they pretend they don't have perspective on there. So they're like, here is a guy who worked at the government, and at best they'll wink at a Democratic perspective, but what they're really leaving out is the insider perspective. That's what Josh Earnest brings you, and Jay Carney and Axelrod and Karl Rove and Lewandowski and all those guys who worked in all those campaigns and administrations, is that Washington is always right, Washington is great, there's no chicanery going on here, don't worry about money in politics or the corruption or all that they say about Washington. No, 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 no. Washington's perfectly fine, and these are good, honorable gentlemen. And here's someone who was paid to spew those talking points, not being paid by mainstream media to spew those same talking points. And you wonder where you lost their trust. Now, theoretically, we're in some sort of competition with the mainstream media, but in reality, in the new world of content, it's a notion of content, who cares? It's not a zero-sum game, and it doesn't work that way. And I'm telling you, in the old days, they'd be like, don't tell them, man, that they're doing it all wrong. One, they're never gonna listen, it doesn't matter, okay? Number two, I want them to do it right. You're so much better off going with an analyst who challenges both sides rather than going, here, I have one analyst who's totally in the tank for one side. I have another analyst who's totally in the tank for the other side. They will continue to have fake arguments back and forth for all of time. Now, almost as if to prove my point, what does he do on the first day? Media reports that Earnest made his debut in his new role on NBC's Today, where he discussed the failure of President Trump and Congress to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act last week. In other words, he said how much of a failure the Republicans were and how great the Democrats were and how great it was that they kept his old boss's Healthcare Act in place. Wow. What a big get you guys got. Enjoy. Podcast The Young Turks anytime you want. tytnetwork.com/join.
I think it's weird.
No, it's not weird. In fact, you'll think,
I'm like a smart person.
do it now. tytnetwork.com/join.